Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101, Week 6 Browns NFL early games, post game show, late games update show, we'll just call it. And boy, the Browns took the fight to the finish to the 49ers before the game even began, and they got skirmish with the 49ers on the field in pregame, and they never refused to back down, and they never let up. Uh, all game, even though they were heading into a David and Goliath matchup. Uh, they pulled off the biggest upset of the week. They beat the previously unbeaten 40 and undefeated 49ers to improve to 3-2 on their season, 19-17 today at Brown Stadium, coming out of their bye, and it was a wild fight to the finish with 49ers rookie kicker Drake Moody pushing a 41-yard field goal wide right in the game's final seconds. And Browns head coach didn't pay much attention to what was going on outside, but he said, I felt good about this one," and he said that after the win in his press conference. So he felt really good about this game, and uh, the Browns, as I said, the Browns pulled off the NFL's biggest stunner, stunner upset this season. And I said rookie Jake Moody missed a 41-yard field goal with 6 seconds left as the San Francisco 49ers fell 19-17 to the Browns, who ended the 49ers regular season winning streak at 15 on Sunday, handed quarterback Brock Purdy his first loss as an NFL starter. Dustin Hopkins kicked 4 field goals for the Browns, who are now 3-2 on the season. The last with a minute 40 left, capping a drive uh, by a disputed unnecessary roughness call against San Francisco. Uh, Cleveland pulled off the upset without quarterback Deshaun Watson, who missed the second straight game with a bruised right shoulder. The 49ers came in looking nearly unbeatable after destroying Dallas 42-10 at home last week on Sunday Night Football, but Cleveland's defense was up to the task, and the 49ers were shorthanded without playmakers Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, who both went out with injuries. PJ Walker came off Cleveland's practice squad and outplayed who threw his first interception this season and finished with just 125 yards. The 23-year-old Purdy had won his first 10 starts and nearly pulled out a stirring comeback. He drove the 49ers into field goal range in the final seconds before Moody pushed his attempt to the right, and that was his field goal attempt. When the ball sailed into the net, Cleveland's sideline erupted in celebration, and the Browns fans danced in the aisles, and boy, did they ever! Uh, Purdy was just 12 of 27 for 125 yards. The 49ers were heavy favorites at the start of this week, and their odds and their odds only grew when the Browns ruled out Watson on Friday. They turned to Walker, who was only signed in August, and the 28-year-old showed poise on Cleveland's final drive and got away with a questionable throw into the end zone to set up Hopkins for the winner. Browns were also helped with the roughness call on the 49ers safety, uh, uh, Tayshaun Gibson Sr., who spent 4 seasons with Cleveland. On 3rd and 10, Walker's throw for Elijah Moore was high, but Gibson was called for the personal foul for leading with his helmet. Walker completed 18 of 34 passes for 192 yards with 2 interceptions. Purdy was out of sync most of the afternoon against Cleveland's top-rated defense And things got even tougher for the second-year quarterback when Samuel went out with a shoulder injury, and McCaffrey couldn't push through on uh, 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 OBQ issue. Still, Purdy got an interference call on San Francisco's final possession and made a couple of nice throws to Jawan Jennings before the 49ers brought out Moody. He came in 9 of 9 on field goal tries before missing a 54-yarder in the first half. On the road for the first time in 4 weeks, the 49ers began mixing it up with the Browns about 30 minutes before the opening kick. Tempers flared during warm-ups with a brief skirmish on the 49ers sideline. There was a lot of trash talk, and San Francisco left tackle Trent Williams shoved Moore from the side and knocked his helmet off. Helped by 2 personal fouls against the Browns, the 49ers scored on their first possession with Purdy shoveling a short pass to McCaffrey, who made 2 quick cuts and got to the outside and went in untouched. McCaffrey's touchdown extended his streak of scoring to 15 straight games, 2 shy of the NFL record held by Hall of Famer Lenny Moore. McCaffrey is tied with John Riggins and O.J. Simpson for second place. Dozens of players were involved in the pregame skirmish, which began with the Browns safety Jawan Thornhill exchanging words with 49ers wide receiver Brendan Ayuk. After order was restored by the officials, several of the Browns stared down at the 49ers as they left the field. There were no penalties or ejections, but fines do seem likely. Browns All-Pro Browns All-Pro left guard Joe Bitonio had a streak of consecutive regular season starts and at 102 games. He had also played 6,481 straight snaps. Bitonio underwent an endoscopic procedure on his knee during the bye week. Although he was close to returning, he opted to rest another week. He is expected to play next week when the Browns take on the Indianapolis Colts. Now, 49ers had injuries. Samuel spent an extended period in the medical tent before going to the locker room. He spent the second half on the sideline in street clothes. McCaffrey tried twice to come back in before being ruled out. Browns linebacker Anthony Walker sustained a concussion and didn't play in the second half. Browns are in Indianapolis next week, take on the Colts. 49ers play at Minnesota on Monday night. But boy, this big-time Browns win puts the Browns at 3-2, and the Baltimore Ravens are 3-2, and the Pittsburgh Steelers who on a bye week are 3-2, and Cincinnati's 3-3. So the Browns, Ravens, and Steelers are in a 3-way tie for first place in the AFC North. But this big win for the Browns will be the talk of the town tomorrow, I can tell you that. And I'm going to give out the game balls to the Browns right now. PJ Walker, 18 of 34 carries and attempts, 162 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jerome Ford, 17 attempts, 84 yards. And Amari Cooper, 4 receptions, 108 yards, no touchdowns. And for 4 of the 4 field goals, Dustin Hopkins. I'm going to give you a game ball. So those are the 4 game balls I give out to the Browns today. Now we're going to talk about all the other early games right now. We're going to go to the scoreboard and we'll talk about the early and the late games. This will be okay. Right now I'm 5-4 on my picks. My brother-in-law Eric Hoyle is 7-2 right now on his picks. And okay, the early game this morning, the early morning game. Excuse me. The Baltimore Ravens beat the Tennessee Titans 24-16, at in London uh, at and it was in London this morning, and that game was at uh, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. And I already gave out the game balls to Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers, and boy, and that's actually Baltimore's 4-2. I apologize for that. So we're tied with the Steelers for second place in the AFC North, but it's tight between all four teams. So, so hopefully, with the Browns can go to 4-2 next week. So, and and boy, this was a and boy, uh, Lamar Jackson really had a tremendous day, and hopefully, and next week, the Ravens will play the Detroit Lions next week, and that's going to be a challenging game for them. Uh, the Washington Commanders beat the Atlanta Falcons 24-16. My brother-in-law took the Commanders. I had Atlanta. I lost on that one. My brother-in-law won. And I got to give it to Washington where the credit is due. And they really were out to win it, and they did just that. And Sam Howell threw three short passes for touchdowns, and he's won the game balls. 14 of 23 carries and attempts, 151 yards, 3 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin, 81 yards, 6 receptions, and I think it's Brian Robinson Jr., 10 attempts, 31 yards. So Washington evens up their record at 3-3. Atlanta falls to 3-3. So they will have to try to regroup and try to get the win next week. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Chicago Bears 19-13. I took Minnesota. My brother-in-law took. Uh, I took Chicago. My brother-in-law took Minnesota. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Seattle Seahawks 17-13 at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincy. And the Houston Texans beat the New Orleans Saints at NRG Stadium in Houston, 20-13. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Indianapolis Colts in Jacksonville, TIAA Bank Stadium in Jacksonville, 37-20. And the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, they beat the Carolina Panthers 42-21. And right now with the late games, the Las Vegas Raiders are in the third quarter with 8:21 left to go. 3rd-4 at the Las Vegas 31. The Raiders have the ball. It's 13-10 Raiders. Third quarter, 8:21 to go. At halftime, the Detroit Lions lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10-3. And very low scoring in the first half. We'll see what happens with them the second half. The Arizona Cardinals are also in a low scoring affair at halftime, 9-6 Arizona. And the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, 14-9. Very low scoring affairs so far. So we will see what happens. Right now I'm 5-4, and so hopefully I can come back and win the rest of these games. So we shall see. And the Bills and Giants will be playing on Sunday Night Football. Cowboys and Chargers tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 Browns NFL Week 6 early games post-game show, late games update show. I'll be back with the late games post-game show and along with the Sunday Night Football pregame show once the late games have all concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.